Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I have quite a few new makeup products that I have accumulated over the past couple of weeks, and I wanted to bring them all together and do a playing with new makeup look for you. And I'm really loving this eye look, playing with a little bit of color from the new Alice in Wonderland Sigma palette. So you want to see how I did that, and the new Patrick Ta foundation that I'm going to be using on my face, and how I got this full look. Then let's go ahead and get started. Can you guess the first thing we need to work on? These under eyes. They're bad by themselves, but when I've got allergies like this, whew, they are 500 times worse. So I'm going to be using my Clinique Even Better All Over Primer and Color Corrector. I'm using a new concealer today. Not new to me, but new to the camera. So I thought I would switch up my color corrector because I've been using the Chantecaille one so much. This is the Sephora number 47 brush. I feel like I get asked about this a lot. And I do also feel like I always have to say it is the older one. They have since redone these brushes. They still have a Sephora number 47, but I have no idea how it compares to this one. I'm pretty sure it's the same shape, but just anything that lays like that. I think BK Beauty, the Angie Hot and Flashy has one. I don't have those, but they have one similar to this shape in a smaller size if you want that for under the eyes. All right, let's hop into the foundation that I'm going to be using. This is the brand new Patrick Ta Cream Foundation and Powder Duo. So it's got the cream foundation on top. It does have a plastic sleeve that protects it from the powder when that is in use. This comes in 24 shades and it is $52, which is a pretty penny. You are getting two products in one. The foundation is 0.42 ounces, which for a cream product is pretty on par. Typically stick foundations are about 0.33, so you're actually getting just a little bit more. So it says this is a buildable, breathable cream formula that melts in and moves with the skin. It also includes an air spun setting powder that blurs the appearance of pores to create a flawless looking skin-like finish. One of the major problems I have with this is the color. I find it to be very, very dark. This is light medium 2, which is light medium with a warm undertone. This to me is a medium all the way, like a darker medium. Okay, I don't feel like this is something that is necessarily safe to buy online, having not seen them in person, because I definitely would have gone lighter. I've worn this a couple days over a couple of different SPFs and under different powders, this one included. I have on the Beauty of Joseon today, which leaves my skin just a little bit paler than before I put it on. So this is going to look even more of a stark contrast, but it is going to match the rest of my body enough to where it's not that big of a deal. But just know, I realize it's going to be a little dark. What I have found out as far as application is I prefer a fluffier brush. This is actually a blush brush. This is the number 227 Flawless brush from IT Cosmetics. Tried it with dense, like normal foundation brushes, and I feel like it applies way too much product. So I like using something fluffier because this definitely can look heavy on the skin. I do not find that for all cream products. I have stick foundations, the Lancome, one of them, that is probably in my top 3 foundations of all time, does not sit heavy on my skin. But there's something about this formula that in all the days that I tested it and wrote down notes, it always looked super heavy on the inner part of my face, whether I started in the center and blended out or started out and blended in. So because of that, I do prefer a fluffier brush, but using a fluffier brush, you do sacrifice some of the coverage. And I just got some on my shirt. That's lovely. So the way I've applied it right now, I would say it's more of a light coverage. If you do want that medium coverage that they state, you're going to have to use a denser brush or more product, which again is just a little too heavy for my taste. Other than that, it wore well. It worked well. I liked it the best over the Beauty of Joseon sunscreen. I feel like the lighter consistency and the thinner consistency of a sunscreen really helps it wear a little bit better. So let's go ahead and jump into a new concealer. This is the Beautiful Skin Radiant Concealer from Charlotte Tilbury. Y'all, I normally get my Charlotte Tilbury stuff within 2 days, and this one took 2 weeks to get to me. I have no idea if I'm the only one that's having that issue, but that is why I haven't talked about this sooner, because it took literally 14 days to get to my door. I am in the shade 6 medium, which is actually way lighter than I thought it would be. It works, but when you think of 6 medium, I would just think that this would be darker, kind of the opposite end of the foundation, where I would have thought that light medium would be lighter. So I'm not having the best luck with color choices. However, this does work for me. This comes in 30 shades and it is $33. It says that it is medium coverage. It also says it's waterproof for up to 16 hours of wear. And it also has hyaluronic acid, niacinamide, and vitamin C. So it is supposed to be more of a hydrating concealer. Now, this is not the first time I have worn it. And I will say that I actually enjoy this concealer. I kind of didn't have very many expectations going into it because I have such a good combination of under eye products right now that I'm using that I just was like, oh, if it doesn't work, it's no big deal, because I feel like I have found the best of the best when it comes to under eye products for me. I'll link the video if you haven't seen it. But I was pleasantly surprised by this because it does wear really well. I have not cried in it, so I don't know. Wait, did I cry in it? I was watching, we just finished up Peaky Blinders, and I was watching, I'm not going to spoil anything if nobody else has seen it, but a funeral scene, let's just say that, in the last season, I think. And that tugged at my heartstrings, but I don't remember if I had this concealer on. I haven't cried enough to test the waterproof, but it doesn't crease or crack or anything like that. I think it could probably stand to be a little bit more coverage, but because I use a color corrector underneath, it's not that big of a deal for me, and the color ended up working out well. I might be the last person to try this product, but it is new to me. It's the newer Beautiful Skin Sun Kissed Glow Bronzer from Charlotte Tilbury. I honestly wasn't planning on getting this, but when I ordered the concealer, I was like, oh, let's just put it in the bag and try it out. I've seen a lot of people compare this to the Chanel bronzer. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, I do not find them comparable. That is just my opinion. I got the shade 2 medium, and I'm going to use my Hourglass Vanish Airbrush foundation. Maybe not airbrush, maybe just Vanish brush to apply this. This is my favorite cream bronzer brush. I've worn this a couple of times. Now, there's a couple things that I do really like about it. I like the color and the coverage to where I don't feel like I need to go over it once I set my face with another bronzer. Like, it's just enough for me. I do think it blends into the skin very nicely. It is more of like a cream to powder kind of formula, so that is unique in that aspect. As far as my collection goes, I don't really have another bronzer that is this formula. I will say though, for me, the wear is not the best. The first day that I wore this, by the end of the day, I looked up at my forehead and there were patches of the bronzer that was gone. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I have never had that issue with another cream bronzer, because I definitely have. But I also have cream bronzers that I don't have that issue with. So while I really think it's very pretty, and I do feel like people are going to come for me because all I've heard is good reviews for this, it is not my favorite cream bronzer of all time, because I just can't trust that it's going to last all day on me. As far as the color and the application and the blendability, I really enjoy it. Now let's go back into the Patrick Ta palette, and I'm going to use this powder right here on a BK Beauty 107. Because of how this is set up, you are going to need to make sure you have a powder brush that is small enough to fit into the pan, because it is not the biggest pan when it comes to powder. So this, I went ahead and set this side and not this side. So it does mattify a little bit. I'm not quite sure about the blurring claim. I don't feel like it really does anything to blur my pores. And, you know, it still leaves some luminosity underneath. I mean, it's okay. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, if you can't decide, if you can't tell, I'm not in love with this. If I didn't have other cream products that I was in love with, maybe, but the powder doesn't do a ton for me. I'm not loving the fact the color isn't what I feel like represents a light medium. It's not bad, but it's not something that I'm like, oh my goodness, run out and buy. Sigma sent me a really nice package for their new Alice in Wonderland collaboration. I put it on my Instagram stories when I first received it. It was in a very pretty large box. But I'm going to use 2 of the products that they sent over. And this one is the cheek palette. So the cheek duo, it's got tickled pink highlighter, which to me is a little more peachy than pink. Not a bad thing because peach is my favorite. And then Paint the Roses blush. So I have used this a few times because I really like it, but it's no secret that I really like Sigma's powder products for the skin. I have, all of their individual blushes and bronzers. I have blush palettes. I have highlight palettes, individual highlights. They're loose powder for the skin. They're really putting out some good stuff lately. And this is no exception. And of course, my girls loved seeing it. We're going to Disney in about 3 weeks. And they said that this is the only thing that I should take. But you can see how pretty that is on the cheeks. I am going to take my Hourglass and buff that out. Alice in Wonderland's not my favorite Disney movie. But if it was Little Mermaid, I'd be all over that. But I do love the packaging. I really love the colors. And I've really been enjoying that cheek palette. I haven't done it yet, but this would be beautiful on the eyes as well. Because y'all know how I love to use blushes as eyeshadow. Speaking of eyeshadow, let's go ahead and jump into this eye palette. So this is the Alice in Wonderland Sigma eye palette, and it comes with 14 shades, like all of their large palettes, and a double-ended brush. So on this side, you have more neutral shades. You have a green sparkly shade, and on this side, you have the fun pinks and blues, and then a pop of like a teal green. And then there are some imprints in some of the shadows that depict characters or themes from the movie. So a couple of these shadows I have not used yet, and I'm going to be brave and try them out for the first time on camera. But I'm going to start with this shade called Twinning right here. It is a legitimate mustard yellow color. So I'm going to use that for my crease shade and just start to carve out a crease. Put a little bit of contour and dimension into the eye. I love these types of colors. Camel by Bobbi Brown, Uninterrupted by MAC. Those are the kind of like mustardy brown colors that I like, but this has even more yellow in it. But I think that if you like those colors, you're gonna like this too, because it never ceases to surprise me how much these yellow toned browns really look good on the eye. I'm going to hop over into a cream shadow. This is another one of those just added in the bag type things from Charlotte Tilbury. And this is one of her brand new shades for her eyes to mesmerize in Golden Eclipse. So I've not used this particular color yet. However, this formula is a favorite of mine. So he says hi. I'm just going to pick up a little bit of that and just apply it. Oh, wow. That's pretty. Oh, like super pretty. I don't know why I'm acting so surprised, but I guess I just didn't think the color was going to be this vibrant, but I really like that. And it definitely is that more yellow gold, so it goes well with that crease color. Then I'm going to take this shade called March Hair, just right here, kind of a coppery brown, and I'm going to keep that mostly, oh my goodness. Look at how pretty that is. Mostly on the outer 2/3 of the eye. Oh my goodness. I love that color. These shades are definitely a must if you have blue eyes. Coppers and the golds just really make the blue pop. Then I'm going to turn that brush over and I'm going to go into Mr. Walrus, which is this gold shade right here. And I'm going to concentrate that just on the inner, just right there, and then kind of blend those two shades together. And then I'm going to take this dark color Curiouser, the dark brown, which you can tell I have definitely already dipped into on my Rephr 29. Use that for eyeliner. And then I'm going to get into one of these fun colors for my lower lash line, because I often do that if I want to do a pop of color or use something, integrate some kind of color in a palette to go with more neutral shades, but I don't want to overdo it. And I'm trying to decide between Mad Hatter, this really pretty teal green, or Cheshire, that pink. But I feel like the pink is kind of a given. So let's do the green. I'm just going to take a pencil brush. I'm going to pick up some of that product and I'm going to buff it under the eye. That's fun. Again, just an easy way to wear a pop of color. Now I'm going to take some of this super, super, super silver type shade right here called White Rabbit and put it in the inner corner. How fun is that? Oh, I love these colors so much. All right, I use my Chantecaille mascara, and now I'm going to use my Chantecaille lipstick. This is the new one, Lip Chic in Yarrow from the Cougar collection. I did a reel with 2 different looks with the Cougar palette that I will link down below. You do not have to have Instagram to view it if you hit the link. Lip Chic is one of my very favorite lipstick formulas of all time, and you can tell that I'm gonna like this color because it is a nude pink. And you'll be right, because I do. I love this color. And some of the proceeds from this collection go to help the Yellowstone Forever Foundation. So I think that is pretty cool as well. Now, I do have one last thing that's new, and that is a perfume. This was sent over by Twisted Lily. This is the brand new Maison Francis Kurkdjian perfume in 724. So I did wear this one yesterday. I absolutely love, I hope you're able to see, that when you turn the bottle around, it's a clear perfume. So you can see there's a cityscape behind there. I don't have another perfume that does that, so I really like that. And that is because this is supposed to evoke the feeling of being in your favorite urban city. Like how it feels when you first step out into the city, that kind of sensation that you get. This has sandalwood, aldehydes, bergamot, white flowers, jasmine, and musks. Now I know that Maison Francis Kurkdjian very rarely puts out all of the notes that they have in their fragrances. But to me, this is a very, very, very fresh, almost effervescent, fizzy, not so much like champagne fizzy, more like Sprite fizzy, because you have, you know, the citrus, the bergamot, and the aldehydes give it kind of that effervescent feeling. And it does kind of give you this citrusy musk sensation. I am not a fan of citrus fragrance. A lot of time, if it has too much like lemon or anything like that in it, I will smell like pledge to my nose. Bergamot I do like though, and to this, I don't get that sensation at all with this. This is more of like citrus on the front end, but then you get that like musk come in, and to me, musk just smells like clean skin. So that's kind of what this invokes for me. It's like a very fresh laundry, fresh out of the shower, clean skin feel. I imagine this working the best in super hot days, but I mean, it's Tennessee here, so it's going to be super hot through October. So I'm going to definitely keep wearing that for this. The longevity was good on me when I wore it yesterday. I got about 6 hours out of it, but this is also to me a very inoffensive fragrance. So the sillage is not out of this world. So like if I walk into the kitchen, Chad's not going to be able to smell me while he's, you know, in the living room. It's not like that. To me, it sits a little bit closer to the skin. So it's one that I'm going to feel more comfortable wearing like when I'm working. I do have a trial later on this afternoon. So I don't have an issue at all wearing this because I just feel like it's going to invoke a very clean, fresh feeling. Now, it is a little similar to Aqua Universalis Forte from his line as well, but it's different enough in my opinion to warrant having both if you really like that fresh, musky scent and feel on the skin. So definitely give this one a try. I will have it listed down in the description box, and don't forget I have a 10% code with Twisted Lily. So far, I'm really enjoying this. In my book, this house can really do no wrong. I mean, like, he just knows what he's doing when he makes a perfume. So again, Maison Francis Kurkdjian, Paris 724. So that concludes this Playing with New Makeup. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions. As always, I will have everything linked and listed below in the description box. Be sure and like and subscribe before you leave so you don't miss out on any future videos. And I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day.